watching actually ESPN Monday Night Football, looking at some of the pregame stuff. Gruden was actually highlighting Chris Thompson, saying that he will be an X factor in this game, which I totally agree. This is definitely a huge matchup for the Redskins, sitting at 2-1, the Eagles at 3-1, and Giants 0-4, and the Cowgirls 2-2. So this is a major game for the Redskins going into the bye week next week. If we can go into the bye week 3-1 with some confidence, the defense playing well as it has the last 3 weeks. Hopefully it'll do the same thing tonight. That's a huge feather in the cap for this team and a huge confidence boost for this team going into the stretch, especially with having the bye week early. And I think the key for the Redskins defense, as I said, Chris Thomas is going to be the key for the offense. I think it's going to be stopping that kid Kareem Hunt. He's put up great numbers the first 3 games. He's number 2 all time in the NFL now with yards from scrimmage at like 593 in those 3 games. So it's definitely the defense is going to have to answer the bell like they did the last 3 games, and the offense is going to have to dictate the pace. And hopefully Jay sticks with running the ball in time of possession. What do you think, Robbie?
I think that those are a lot of some good points. I definitely think that the running game is going to be key. We just cannot go away from that. It's why we won our last 2 games. And I realize that we have a bit of a different identity this season than we did last season, but I think our passing game is still a work in progress. And I definitely like to see some of our wide receivers get hot early. We haven't really seen the wide receivers show up quite like we thought they would, maybe. I did like, we talked about it last week, how some of them did show up, but you can still see more of that. It'll be interesting to see how Jordan Reed does, whether he's able to play at full strength, or what he's able to produce for us this week. But really, everything is predicated off of the run game, and we just got to stick with it. And that's the key. And our defense should choose to keep flying into the ball, and our special teams needs to not turn the ball over. If we could do those 3 things, I think we have a decent chance of winning this game. I unfortunately did not pick us in this game, if you remember last week, but I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that Carroll's right.
I mean, it's definitely going to be a test. You're in Kansas City in a hostile environment. You've seen what the Kansas City Chiefs have done in the first 3 games. They're 3-0. They're loving us last week for beating Oakland. So, I guess Denver and Oakland are rooting for us to beat Kansas City this week to try to make sure they don't get too far ahead. But another key to this game is going to be the matchup of Andy Reid and Jay Gruden. We know what Andy can do. As him being an Eagles coach for so long, and the few times that we've played Kansas City since he's been there, he's very diverse with his offense. He doesn't mind making adjustments on the fly, and they already have a nice defense. And the kid Kareem Hunt is going to be the key. If we can shut him down and make Alex Smith beat us, they don't really have that much strength on the outside. Me and Duchesne were speaking about this earlier. They do have Kelsey, who we've been hurt by the tight end. Hopefully, with our improved safety play and with Zach Brown being out there, we can cut down his touches and his impact on the game. But we saw what the Eagles did with Zach Ertz. He didn't have the monster game that he's had on us before, but he was still effective and was moving the chains. So hopefully we can keep him in check, hold down Kareem Hunt just like we did Marshawn Lynch last week, and play sound defense and get pressure on Smith and make him make some mistakes. This game could set the tone for the rest of the season. DJ, what do you think about this matchup going forward, and what do you think the keys are on offense and defense?
This is a very, very good matchup, and what makes it even better now is the fact that they got a win against the Oakland Raiders, a formidable offensive line, a big running back, 2 solid wide receivers, and now you come off of that game and you're coming into another game where defensively the Kansas City Chiefs are almost the mirror image of the Oakland Raiders. You have that they have that attacking style. They like to get downhill. They like to get after the quarterback. And as has been said last week, I said it last week, I said this week, it's very much imperative for Jake Gruden to be creative in the run game, getting things, getting Chris Thompson out of the space taking advantage of their ability or their want to get downhill to the quarterback. That starts to neutralize guys. Then they start thinking a little bit before trying to come gunning downhill towards the quarterback. I think the keys on offense is first and foremost, if you can stick with what works, the 3 tight end, the 2 tight end set, utilize if Jordan Reed is not going to play, then utilize Vernon Davis. I think he's been a huge insurance policy for the football team. Use Chris Thompson. If you don't have Chris Thompson in your lineup for fantasy football, first of all, you're reading the wrong website, A, and B, you're not listening. This guy is legit, and I think with the way they use him, getting him out of the space, allowing him to be able to use his ability to get around people, shake people will make him miss. It's very good. Mac Brown, the guy Carroll spoke about during the off season, early in the season, you saw what he could do. I don't think there's any reason to rush back Kelly by any means. So if you get that going, like you did last week, I expect Josh Stockton to have another solid game. And I will say that Redskins insider Lake Lewis had mentioned that before the game. He took a little heat because Josh Stockton was nowhere to be found. But I knew that they were going to, at some point, they were going to find a way to get to him. They did. And I think you're going to see a lot of you're going to build that trust between him and Kirk. And you're going to have the opportunity to get more 50-50 balls. Honestly, though, I think that the breakout game for a wide receiver tonight is going to be Terrell Pryor. I think you're going to see with him playing, and Peter's covers him. We've seen what he does in big games when he gets big coverage. He sets up and rises to the occasion. He did it against Josh Norman last year. I expect him to come out and be ready for this football game. Defensively, I look at it this way. Don't do anything that you haven't been doing. It's about sound play, guys like Fitz coming down, setting the edge like they're supposed to. Everybody playing sound, gap responsibilities. That's what's going to be key to contain Kareem Hunt. And I did some analysis here on their wide receiving core. They're not really that tall. I mean, Tariq Hill's only 5'10". Our corners, you got Josh Norman, 6 foot. You have Monte Nicholson back there. When he's in there, he's 6'2". Breland is 6 foot. Our smallest corner in a 3 wide receiver set is Fuller, who is 5'11". But yeah, we're going to have a problem. You're going to see Kelsey get his. But like you said earlier, I think DJ Swearinger, them setting the tone. You saw him lay the wood on beast mode. I think one time coming across the middle, he makes a play. If Swearinger gets him, that's going to be it for that. He's going to think about that a little bit. But I think they defensively know what they're doing. They play soundly, and they can get turnovers. They had turnovers just about every game here coming into this game. That's all you need. Solid defense, and don't turn the ball over on offense. And you can win this ball game. I don't care how loud it is and how tough digging this is. The bottom line is, if you get up, you start making plays, or the crowd gets quiet. And now you can really play your style of offense. So that's what I think the keys are there for this football team.
No doubt, definitely agree. Definitely let that break down. I think the secondary is going to be key, but we know Andy, and we know how they love to use the screens and love to use Tariq Hill. Even though he is small, they get him in open space, and he's a problem. So, with it being Andy and with him knowing how to use his offense against the Redskins, even though this is a different team, he knows how to play the strategic game. That's the one thing that Jay is missing. He does plays to set up other plays later on. Jay doesn't do that. Jay is a fly by the seat of his pants, goes by, what's going in the game action, which is cool. But you have to also adjust and be able to set other folks up and use their aggressiveness or use whatever they're showing. You have to use that against them to make them second guess on that. And that's the only thing that I'm worry about in this game that if Andy comes out, put 8 in the box with that stout defense that they have, even though Jay did last week, he stuck with it. I don't know. I'm still not sold that he's going to do it week in and week out. I guess this right here will be, to me, the deciding point if he comes out for 3 weeks in a row and runs the ball more than he passes it. Then I could say, okay, I'm sold. When I write my article going into the bye week, it'll be a lot more pleasant in Jay's favor if I can see him run the ball more than he passes the ball tonight and we come out of here with a victory. That would be a huge feather in his cap, and I can finally say that the maturation of the quarterback and the coach is finally happening in DC.
Now, I'll put some numbers out for you here. You spoke about Tyreek Hill. I mean, they do like to get the ball to him in space. And I'll go defense first with the Chiefs here. Yes, they do like to get downhill. And I brought this up last week as well with Oakland. They're susceptible to the run. When you look at this Kansas City Chiefs team, on the defensive side of the ball, they've been allowing 111 yards per game, 4.3 yards per rush. They're pretty susceptible there in the running game. And mainly in the passing game, they're susceptible in the middle of the field. Now, you can start to see things going like the Redskins have been in the past 2 weeks. Could create a big problem. My only fear out there in their secondary is Marcus Peters. Outside of that, I really don't have much concern. And then if you have the tight end game going, which we talked about, the 3 tight end set, that's something they like to do and do well in Washington. So I think that would be feasible and a very good thing to do to stick with that. Some other numbers real quick. If you look at the receptions and the targets here, Tyreek Hill's been targeted 22 times. He's been targeted the most out of all the guys out there. He's got 16 receptions there. And he's only had 6 rushing attempts for 24 yards. So if you can keep it contained, that's important. That doesn't mean this guy can't, up one loose. His runnings has been 9 yards for those types of attempts. The second highest wide receiver is Albert Wilson. He has 12 targets, 10 catches. And then as far as the next person in line is, of course, Kelsey. He has 18 targets, 14 receptions. So you look at the matchups, the way Breland has been playing, the way Norman has been playing. If you can continue to keep that rolling, and then you have these other guys like Kendall Fuller, you have Monte Nicholson coming in there, making plays as well, making things difficult on guys when they're getting down, trying to throw deep balls and trying to go corner. Those numbers drop. Now you can limit this thing to just being Fremont and worry about Kelsey. Bro, you got yourself a really good opportunity to once again dominate a game like you did at home against the Oakland Raiders.
That would definitely be a pleasant sight and pleasant surprise. I'm looking forward to this defense being on point tonight. I'm looking forward to be flying around. I'm hoping that everyone wants us to receive the kickoff first. I want us to put our defense on the field first and to set the tone for this game, which is definitely what we need. I'm going to bring in Mike real quick before I go to Rob. I'm going to bring in Mike. I know Mike probably chomping at the bit to get his input in on this Redskins talk for tonight. What you got to say about this matchup, Mike?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Kirk Cousins for his son Cooper Cousins was born, and
Cooper
Brandon
Cousins.
Sheriff.
Cooper Cousins, man, I still can't get over that.
But you know what it is? It has a whole lot of respect. Kirk Cousins. I think it might be a shout out to Cooper Manning, dude. He went to his camp. Anyway, and man, you killed me. I'll put me on my screen. So Surf had a baby too, and I'm not sure what the baby's name is, but there's a whole new Surf in town. Anyway, so the thing is that I'm proud of Jay for running in, but the thing is that we can't. First of all, beating the Rams was huge. The Rams, I mean, it's like our sister team. if we had a big running back, if we had a Gurley, and beating that team was a pretty big deal to me. And then we did what we did to the Raiders, and that was the best game I've seen in a long time. But we can't go in there and give. I agree with Porter. We should defer if we get the flip, but we need to score early. We can't get behind a couple touchdowns, because we get behind a couple touchdowns. We can't do what we do, which is our thing, and that's not long throwing and all that. It's really just establishing the fear of Jordan Reed and maybe the fear of some receivers, and then hitting up, just so you can't stack the box. We could really exploit with Chris Thompson. I mean, and the thing about his fantasy value is so accurate. He's a beast. And the fantasy team, when they set the points, they give him like 6 points. It's getting like 22 points a game. People need to draft him. Anyway, we just can't get behind, because we're not going to do. Jay's doing what he did in Cincinnati, and you're not going to overcome 3 touchdowns that way. We're going to have to ask Kirk to take on a whole lot more to do that. So getting from behind, we can't let that crowd bother us. We know this elephant in the room is us playing on Monday nights, you know what I mean? But we just got to get over that. This is a new team. Our defense is nice. I like our defense a lot, and I really underestimated Manusky. Like, I would apologize to him if I ever saw him, because he's got this guy. What they're doing, they're executing, and they're not doing stupid things for the most part, and they're tackling for the most part. They're swarming, and there's 5 shirts around every ball. And that's what we've been missing. We've been missing guys like Dick there. And, swearing is going to hold people accountable if they don't carry.
Well, that's what we said way back. That it's not about the big name. That Manusky would definitely be a good fit here. And Bernie said on the Facebook Live feed, the defense has to come out with that same angry killer instinct, and get off at the short field and quiet the Arrowhead crowd. So that's definitely the recipe for this team to win. Like you said, they just have to go out there and execute.
It's just like, they were. I'm sorry, step on you there. They have to be angry. They've been playing angry the last 2 weeks, and I don't want all the analysts on TV to start singing our phrases and predicting us. I don't want that. I want us to not get predicted every single week, because I want them to go out and play bad. I don't want them to start acting like, Norman has been worth every single penny. Now, I don't know where are all the people now that were saying we should have gotten Norman? Let's give some credit. Scott was nowhere around for that decision. I don't know whose board this was, but it was a great draft. Can you imagine if Kareem gets involved? Like, what a great draft. And I guess we'll see next year when we draft whose real style that was. But I like the way this team's going, man. I think like us and the Rams are going to be 2 teams that look a lot alike, that are going to catch a lot of people by surprise, like this year and next year. And apparently we have a lot of cap money for next year. I really feel like we're going to sign Kirk. I feel like we're still doing it.
Go ahead, do your next.
How are we going to do better?
Right. I think when you look at this, everybody credits Greg Manusky. He deserves a lot of credit, but I will say this. When you look at that staff, Tom Shula makes a huge difference, a huge world of difference. The guy, if you look at a lot of the things that the Redskins Wire, little videos, or if you follow Diane Sheeper or Lake Lewis, some of the videos there of Tom Sula working with those guys, he's no nonsense. And I've noticed this team and this defense start to take on the personality of Greg Manusky and Tom Sula. Tom Sula's doing an excellent job with that defensive line, and that has made the difference. Those guys are getting after it. They're very hungry, and they have that motor that never stops. And that's what has been missing on the defensive line. And that plays a huge part in the secondary, because as well as anybody, if you cover more than 7 seconds, somebody's going to be open. So, and teams have not had an opportunity to do that. And they actually last week forced a very good Oakland Raiders team to be one-dimensional. That's very impressive.
Look at our offensive line with Callahan, man. They're pulling. You got Chris Collinsworth calling them Hogs 2.0 and pointing out like just gushing over how they're pulling and running ahead. You know, like you got guys downfield blocking. He's just gushing about the athleticism of these guys. You know, we're seeing so many good things happen, and you got to take the good with the bad and give Jay some credit. Apparently, I wasn't crazy about him, and he still is a bonehead sometimes, man. Like, he tried to cost us the game for San Diego, the Rams game with the stupid fade, but the guy, he's doing his thing. I'm glad we stuck around, and I'm glad we are stuck with him. And if we haven't done our typical thing, which is to freak out and fire the guy, I like the staff. I like the fan.
Well, that's what happens when you have a qualified front office, even though a lot of fans get upset with Bruce and have bad things to say and still talk trash about Daniel Snyder, even though, he came into the league trying to find his way. He's done nothing wrong in my opinion, the last 5-6 years for opening his wallet and say, what do you need to win? You got all these conspiracy theories about him. But you have to look at the product on the field and look at the team, how it's changed in the last 2 to 3 seasons, how the mentality has changed, the talent level has risen, the athleticism has been gained, and you have, like you say, folks holding each other accountable and are not just, on this team to be on this team. I've spoke about it several times. You have players that want to live the NFL lifestyle but don't want to put in the work, and we had a lot of that on this team. Now we have more teams that want to be NFL players, that want to make a name for themselves, and not just worried about the NFL lifestyle, but actually want to be an NFL player and not just live the lifestyle.
And it's a privilege to be a Redskin. We don't see these guys doing a bunch of knucklehead stuff. I was disappointed in Trent Murphy, and I'm sorry he's hurt, but things like that. But we don't see a lot of what we see with some teams that, the Cowboys, Bengals, and these guys are arrested every week, and it's like, come on, we just, I hope we don't change this or anything, but we don't seem to have the kind of character guys that do that sort of thing. I know Gillette had a little controversy in his past, but he's out there doing great. BFF hasn't ranked very well, so, I'm glad to just see him back, dude. That guy, what story that guy is, he got heart.
Well, that goes to your scouting department and the way they look at the players now. That's why the whole Sewer Cravens thing, I really ain't even touch on it because they've done so well with scouting these players and getting the ones that, are fits for the team that normally they do a good job of scouting. So, sometimes stuff slips through the cracks, the team is playing well. They're, they're focused. They all looking, they're playing like a team. They're looking to, like you say, swarming to the ball. When a mistake has been made, no one was out there pointing fingers or saying who missed what assignment or who did what. They just try to fix the problem and make sure it didn't happen again. And that's something that this team desperately needed. And before we go any further, we have to talk about the special teams. We talked about the offense and defense, which has been, pleasant surprises at how effective they've been so far. But this special teams unit, I'm trying to figure out what's the issue with the unit. They ended up the season so well. I know we have a lot of new players on the squad, new rookies, and players that don't really know it, but it's been 3 weeks in a row where there's been a bonehead play made on special teams. Do you think this might be the night that they can, especially going up against Kansas City's top, special teams unit, do you think this is the week that they finally can get it together, Dujanet?
I guess I'm looking at it from a different light. I know they made this a bit of gas. We had just a fumble by Jamison Crowder. I really chalked it up to him wanting to try to make a play. And sometimes you get a little bit ahead of yourself with the cart before the horse, so to speak. You get going and you don't
Definitely. I spoke about Ben Kawika a couple of weeks ago when I jumped out there and said that this special teams unit will help this team win some games. I'm still waiting for that first game. Like I said, they've almost cost us 3 with, making mistakes. So hopefully they can get it together. Y'all was gonna say something about Niles Paul. He's been a special teams demon since he's been here, and I love his play. And that's another want position. You have to want to go out there and play well on special teams, and that, like I said, goes back to the character thing that these guys want to be effective out there and want to play and want to make a name for themselves out there because they know that it's not guaranteed that they get another chance out there. Well, you got anything to add to the conversation, Rob? You've been quiet over there. I know you're getting ready for Monday Night Football. And you got anything you want to chime in on?
Yeah, for sure. I got actually a bunch of stats. I've been compiling stats while listening to you guys talk. That's been running on either Total Access or Monday Night Football. And so I wanted to get to a couple of those real fast that I thought were the most interesting. The first one is the first one was 401 rush yards this season, leads the NFL, which is Hunt. He has 538 total yards for the first 3 career games, which is the second most in NFL history. He's also the first player in NFL history with 50-plus yard touchdowns in his first 3 career games. The Chiefs are the last undefeated team in the NFL. Cousins has had a 105 passer rating, which is actually 5th in the NFL this year. And the last stat I thought was interesting was the Chiefs have been 24-9 at home since 2013, so they've been pretty dominant at home. And Cousins, I think we were mentioning it maybe earlier, they're 0-4 in Monday Night Football games, but all those have been at home. So this is his first road Monday Night Football game. So it's interesting, some interesting stats to look forward to. Hopefully we can break some of those streaks for Hunt specifically in the Chiefs and at home. So I'm hoping that we can potentially hold him a little bit, but those are some pretty daunting numbers that I found out.
Well, I'm a defensive guy, and that you just mentioned the numbers that Kareem Hunt put up. And if this team can hold him down, and I ain't saying they need to shut him down, but keep him and rein him in, that's going to be a huge feather in the cap. And I know I get on my soapbox sometimes, but I want all of those fans that I've been speaking to that I'm not going to call you out on the air, but when y'all was complaining about this defense and all the talking about going to the 4-3, going back, I told y'all, once they start putting money into the defense and add talent to the 3-4, you're going to see a difference. Now, I see all the posts. Oh, the defense is playing great. Oh, I love it. Yeah, y'all wasn't saying that before. Just remember, if you're going to support this team, support them in the good and the bad. Y'all sitting at home on the computer in your boxes in your mama's basement for a reason, because you're a fan. So don't be coming at me sideways saying I don't know what I'm talking about when I do. I'm going to get off my soapbox right now and get back to the conversation.
I agree with you on that one. And I wrote an article during the off season speaking about that. And really, you can say what you want, but when you know the game, you study the game. They were at more 4-3s than they were in 3-4. So I'm just going to leave that there. Robbie, with your numbers, I'm going to give you some numbers, give you guys some numbers out there that really can really compliment and show that this can be successful for the Washington Redskins. The Redskins are averaging a number 7 with 4.5 rushing yards for attempt. And right now they're averaging 136.3 yards. That's number 6 in the league. Defensively, they're number 2 in the league. Only allowing I know it's early, but women lie, men lie, numbers don't. So we're going to look at Kansas City. They're running the ball very well. They're averaging about 6.8 yards. They're number one in the league in rushing yards per attempt. They're getting 162 yards per game. They're number one offensively in rushing, but they give up 111.7 yards per game on the defensive side of the ball. That is 20th in the league. Do the math, ladies and gentlemen. If the Washington Redskins can come out with their 3 tight end, 2 tight end set, and be physical, and I've said this, and me and Carroll have had conversations about this before. When they run the ball, they allow those offensive lines to be physical, those offensive linemen to be physical. They have great success, and it improves them in the passing game. And if they can do that, we talked about the numbers they're averaging, the Washington Redskins are averaging on offense. And when you look at the amount of yards and the yards per rush and the numbers that they're giving up defensively in Kansas City, it weighs heavily in the Redskins' favor. Now you start factoring in getting guys like Jordan Reed, Vernon Davis, Crowder involved. Boy, to balance the offensive attack like it did last week with a tenacious defense can equal to a win.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, we about approaching 8:15, so about 15 minutes till kickoff. They're making their game picks on Monday Night Countdown. We know the last 2 weeks, everybody. Oh, you know they are. You know they are. My man Robert Marine. I don't know if you're tuning in. I love the memes you do every after game day when the whole panel got the other team and you put the crying Jordan face on them. I love that shit. I hope we'll be looking at it again tomorrow because I think this team is going to play well and actually show up on Monday Night Football and play real well. And for 2 weeks in a row in prime time, they're going to show what this team is really about. Any let's see what we got. What else we want to talk about in this game? You know, we had some folks chiming in on a Facebook live feed. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Marcus in South Carolina, appreciate it. You know, love that you checking us out down there. We got E. I guess I don't want to get that wrong. He was asking, you know, who are we talking to on the line? Was it a coach or a reporter? Like, nah, baby, this is our panel of experts. This is what we do. This is what we love. We talk about our sports. It ain't no question if it's always a expert or a reporter from somewhere. Well, we do got a reporter. You know, we got Dujanay, but he's still an expert in my book before he's a reporter. I look at him as an expert before he's a reporter. So, you know, I take it as that. I hope you don't take that as a slight with him being a reporter. But that's what we do, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. You know, I appreciate all the love we getting. You know, I guess I go ahead and pub the apparel line. You see the hat. You watching the Facebook line feed. I'm going, you know, we're in the process of closing the deal. We're going to have this out. Make sure you check out the Facebook page, Sports on the Hill, Sports OTHP Apparel and Accessories. We got our website on there. You can go check it out. Click the link. Got sweatshirts, hoodies, tote bags, coffee mugs, whatever you want. You know, we appreciate whatever support you can give us, you know, to help to keep this podcast up and running. You know, we do bigger and better things, more things coming down the road. So just stay tuned. You know, so much stuff is happening with the, you know, sports about to pick up. You got baseball playoffs. You got hockey starting. You got basketball starting pretty soon. Football picking up. So, yeah, just stay tuned and ride with us, man. We're going to take it to a whole different level.
Yeah, I wanted for everyone. Yeah, well, I wanted to comment also that we're doing a hoodie sale. So if anyone wants $6 off a hoodie, if they go to our Facebook page, the links are there. You can see me wearing one of them. They're really comfortable. I know that, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, man, it's expensive. It's a hoodie. It's worth the value. It's a comfortable hoodie. Even if it wasn't repping our own podcast, I'd rep it anyway. It's a cool new design. We just did it in Redskins colors as well. I highly recommend that one. That one looks really awesome. And then, or you get the regular colors, or you get the Capitals red one if you want to rock the red. So I highly recommend that. You can get some discounts on our page. So I just want to let people know about that.
Cool. All right, we got 15 minutes till we're going to get off the air and let everybody get, you know, settled, get their buffalo wings and nachos and pizza and everything together for kickoff. So I guess we'll go ahead and go around the table. Oh, I guess we can go ahead and bring in, somebody I know that's been chomping at the bit to get on and give his info before we go around the table and give our predictions. Going to bring in Dan the man. What's going on, Dan? How you doing tonight?
Okay, ESPN, of course, they're all saying Chiefs.
Of course.
And it's on network. What did they say yesterday? Chiefs. CBS. Fox. Kansas City Chiefs. Goes like this, guys. First up, great fucking show. Great to hear from everyone.
Appreciate it.
Here's the stat from last week that we didn't put up that we brought up last week during predictions, so I'm going to bring up again. Last week, our defense did not allow any third down conversions. They got the opposing offense from the Raiders off that field. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if our defense can come even close to that stat tonight, and our offense can keep picking up the pace, we're going to win this game. And people are going to just have boom, Joe on the floor.
No doubt. It will shock the world if we can beat them.
A 40% chance of leaving these people speechless tonight in the next 3 hours. 40% chance. So we've almost got the odds. I think we have a really good chance of pulling this off. I mean, every dog has to stay. Kirk Cousins has never won on Monday Night Football. Guess what, Kirk? Congratulations on your son, Grandchef. Congratulations on your kid as well. But guess what, guys? This is the big stage. You got to win the big games to get up to that next level. And I think this team is ready to get up to that next level. So let's get this done, guys.
Totally agree. It's definitely going to be a huge feather in the cap for the team if they can go into Kansas City. And like Robbie said, they're 24-9 since 2013. Yep. So that's an impressive record. And if the Redskins can go in there, get pressure on Smith, contain Hunt, and don't make any bonehead plays on special teams, I don't see any reason why this team shouldn't leave out with a victory. So since it's getting close to the end of the hour, I say we go ahead and give our predictions since they're already doing that little pregame wrap up. I know I don't want to miss any of this. I'm going at the kickoff. So Dan, we're going to go with you. Your final thoughts on this game, and what do you think the outcome is going to be? You said 40% chance. So what do you think it's going to be?
Last week I think I was the only one on our pickup panel that had the Redskins winning 27-24 Redskins. And a slight preview for tomorrow night. What happened tragically overnight in Las Vegas, we will be covering on True Talk tomorrow night. But tonight, folks, let's set everything aside. I got the Redskins 27-24 in a close one. And people in Kansas City, jaw on the floor. The last of the unbeaten goes down tonight.
I know that's right. And just like you heard, that's Dan Sith Lord. He's on Tuesday night. You heard Paul Smith, our boxing expert, last week plugging the show. Dan's also on that political panel also. That's how Deep True Radio Network is, man. We got folks on all different facets to cover all different shows, politics, sports, or whatever. We're going to enlighten you even if you want it or not. That's just how it is. You tune in, you're going to learn something, or you're going to think about something in a different way, because that's just the level that we at. So, Dan, I appreciate you calling in and listening in as usual. I'll let you get your cold brewski and get that Cowboy fan in the basement you got tied up. You can go ahead and feed him a little something before the game, or you can wait till after the game, which you're probably going to do anyway.
Wait till after the game. You don't deserve shit.
I can dig it. All right, man. You go ahead and get your cold beer.
Have a good day tonight,
all right, man. You have a good night, Dan. All right, Mike. All right, man. Take it easy. Mike, we're going to go to you for your predictions on the game, and what do you think is going to happen tonight?
Well, we saw Gurley gash us, and he was over 100, I think, and he had receiving yards, and they had Kayvon Austin with some smart defense. We kept them contained, and we imposed ourselves. I say we do it again, and I say it's going to be a close game, but I have the Redskins winning. I'm going to say 28-14, actually.
Nice.
I mean, Kareem Hunt's going to do his thing. Tyreek Hill may do his thing, and honestly, their game plan is a lot like our game plan. And if our offensive line keeps executing the way they have and our defense keeps executing, which is a trend, we've been doing it all year. I mean, the Eagles game, but these last two games, I say we keep doing it. I say 28-14, forget it. And there'll be excuses if we beat them. There won't be praise for us. There'll be excuses about it.
Well, just like they started about the Rams was, it's just the Rams, but they beat the Cowboys yesterday. If you notice, Cowboy fans been quiet as a mug the last few hours.
The Rams are going to surprise a lot of people by the end of this season. The Rams are going to have a winning season. And me and you had the conversation where I said I didn't understand the hype about McVay. You remember that?
Yeah.
And you know what? I understand the hype about McVay. I understand.
Yeah, you give him the pieces.
Looking like the Redskins West, and they're executing on offense. Like they got so many. He's exploiting the RG3 trade with all those first-round picks on that front line. Like that. Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Kid when that happened. Oh, what's he? 30 years old.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see. 30. I think he's 32, the youngest coach in the NFL.
31.
Yeah, so he's definitely doing his thing.
Hey man, to answer the question, I say the Redskins keep executing and they win tonight, man.
All right, Dujan, what you got the final outcome of this game being?
All right, before I give you the final outcome, just want to give you guys some breaking news here on the Redskins inactive. We have running back Matt Brown, cornerback Josh Holtby. We're going to have Tyler Catalina. You're going to have Josh Harvey Clemens as inactive. Inactive again will be Anthony Lanier and Kai Nenseki will also be inactive. So with background being inactive, that means Robert Kelly could actually get a chance to get a little time out of there on the field. Jordan Reed, that being said, Jordan Reed is not on the inactive list, so he will be out there as well. So we'll actually have an opportunity to have that three tight end set where we can have both Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis out there. That's going to be pretty huge. So with that being said, I think we're going to make our picks earlier in the season. I broke down the season early. I had the Washington Redskins win this game. I had them losing last week for good reasons, but they showed up and really showed out. And I expect them to, after riding high last week on a Sunday night win, I think they're going to ride high. I picked them to win, and I actually like the 27-24 pick. And I think it's going to be, once again, defense gives this Washington Redskins team opportunities. They silence this crowd. And I'm going to say that, like I said earlier, Terrell Pryor will have a pretty nice day tonight, and he probably will find Baker at least once.
Sweet. Well, Robbie, I'll let you go ahead and get to yours, and then I get my quick one in before this kickoff. They're about to do the anthem. I'm not going to kneel. I'm not going to sit down. I'm sitting down, but I'm not even going to touch that. Robbie, go ahead. I'm going to leave it alone. Yeah, Robbie, you having technical difficulties there, buddy? You going to give your pick, or should I go ahead and give mine?
I'm sorry, I double needed
we can expect that once an episode out of you.
And it's what I'm doing too many things behind the scenes. I don't want people to hear what's going on. Anyway, so ESPN is not covering the whether or not there will be kneeling or not. They're not even going to air the anthem, which I think is an interesting move on ESPN's part. So we won't even know if that happens, what it is going to be. So my prediction is the same prediction I had last week when I was on air, so I'll stick with it. I'm going to have us losing this game, unfortunately, 35-27. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Just because I think, it'll be interesting. It'll either be a low-scoring game and we'll win, or it's going to be a high-scoring game and we'll lose. So that's kind of how I feel about it right now. So, but I did want to mention, if people do care about our thoughts on the kneeling situation, last week on the Tuesday show, Carroll and I did join them. So
I encourage people to go back. I know we didn't talk about it much on our show last week. We got to a little bit in overtime. But if they want to know what our thoughts are on that, they can definitely go back and check that True Talk. It was a great hour and 50-minute episode just on that. So I wanted to let people.
No doubt. It was a great episode.
They're airing that right now.
Yeah, they are actually airing it, and they showed some of the Redskins with their arms locked, but they didn't really show a lot, but they showed enough to.
Nobody's sitting on the Redskins sideline though.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and give my prediction so we can get off. So since they finished that, we know kickoff is coming pretty soon. I'm thinking it's a defensive. It's gonna be a defensive battle. The Redskins gonna find a way to win. I'm saying 21-17 Redskins going to the bye week 3-1, and we have a Victory Tuesday. Just make sure y'all stay tuned for my halftime hot takes. I'll be on Facebook Live for halftime and for my post game. Be sure to tune in. Any questions, comments, anything else you want to chime in with, I'll be on. Stay tuned. Stay on the lookout for my quick takes article tomorrow morning, probably around lunchtime, if not sooner, with my observations from the game, win, lose, or draw. But hopefully we'll have a Victory Tuesday. I want to say thanks for everybody that called in. Thanks for our great panel. Robbie, you got anything you want to say to wrap up before we get out of here for this great game?
No, we're going to jump in. They are showing it, so I think public pressure made the ESPN case. It had come out before the game, so they weren't going to show it. But that was a couple hours ago. I think people were having a fit about it. So it's good. I'm happy they are covering it one way or another. It is happening right now. I just wanted to remind people that the special next week, 7 o'clock, we'll recap the other two playoff round games, as well as either recap Game 3 if it's earlier in the day. We'll talk about it live. We'll preview it if it's later that night. 7:30, we have the Caps Talk, which will be great. We'll recap the first two games of the regular season. We'll also preview an exciting week that they have. And at 7:30, they have a live game versus Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. So we'll be covering that game live as well. And in the second hour, we'll be doing breaking in with all of that news, but also recap this Monday Night Football game and take a look at how the NFL is doing in general. We'll bring back our team and we'll do a pick-up thing in overtime, I'm sure. A lot of stuff to talk about. I'm definitely going to let you guys all sign out, and then I'm going to end it with a little head of the Redskins.
Also, we have a special guest on next week talking, since it's going to be talking hockey, we're going to have a special guest on talking about some hockey insider things. We'll keep it posted for next week. But as always, appreciate you tuning in. DC Sports About the Politics, True Radio Network. Our network is better than yours. Stay tuned for so much more. Making moves and chasing dreams. That's what we do, baby.